first episode, we talked about the history of this site and why that history matters. Today, I want to shift gears and focus on how this boutique-style luxury condominium will actually be organized and the thinking behind it. Hi, I'm Lielei Wahlmann, a real estate agent with eXp, and I am documenting this pre-construction project in downtown Sarasota from conception to planning to groundbreaking and ultimately to completion. In this episode, we're going to look at how the building is layered, from the historic street level to the parking and amenity levels, and finally to the private residences above. So stick with me, and by the end, you will understand not just what's being built, but why it's being organized this way. At a high level, Mira Mar is composed of two residential towers rising behind the restored historic building along Palm Avenue in downtown Sarasota, and that placement is intentional. The historic structure remains at the street, active, visible, and integrated into downtown Sarasota's walkable scene. Retail and restaurant spaces will occupy the lower levels of that historic base, helping to keep the sidewalk engaged and connected to the city around it. Behind that preserved facade, the modern towers rise, not as a replacement, but as a continuation. In total, there will be approximately 70 estate-style residences, and that number matters. This isn't a high-density tower trying to maximize every single square foot. It's intentionally boutique. 2 towers, fewer homes per level, more thoughtful proportion. When people hear luxury condo, they often imagine scale, height, glass, density. But boutique scale means something different. It means fewer residences sharing the same vertical space, shorter hallways, quieter elevator experiences, less traffic on each floor. In many luxury markets, density drives return. More units per level, more stacking, more throughput. But here, proportion drives experience. When there are fewer homes on each floor, privacy increases, noise decreases, and the overall rhythm becomes calmer. That difference may not show up on a brochure, but you will feel it. When this project is complete, what do you hope people feel the moment they walk in?
I really want people to feel what we feel here is that Mira Mar is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it really does have a living feeling on its own. So I think that when people walk into the grand lobby, or in fact even the courtyard, they get a sense of being part of something that will never happen again, tying in the history with the new build and honoring the past while being excited about the future is really something that nobody's done here before.
Let's break down how the building is actually organized. The first and second floors are dedicated to the restored historic structure. This is where retail and restaurant spaces will live. And that's important because it keeps the building connected to downtown Sarasota and connected to history. It keeps the sidewalk active, and it keeps people walking by engaged instead of feeling intimidated by oversized and uninviting buildings. The towers don't meet the street first, the history does. Instead of demolishing the past, the design preserves it and builds upward behind it. So when you walk along Palm Avenue, what you experience first is continuity. Above the historic base, you will hear the term podium. In simple terms, the podium is the base portion of the new structure that supports the towers above. In this project, That layer integrates structured parking and building support functions within the lower levels. Parking is not pushed awkwardly to the exterior. It's organized cleanly within the building space. Above the parking levels, the building transitions again. This is where the amenity floor is located. But instead of thinking of it as just amenities, it helps to think of it as shared living space. These are spaces residents can move through naturally throughout the day. Morning fitness, afternoon meetings, evening gatherings, quiet corners. And one feature I really appreciate is the inclusion of guest suites. That means if family and friends are visiting, residents have the option to host them within the building without sacrificing privacy inside their own residence. It even features a pet-friendly facility, including a 1,000-square-foot fenced pet run equipped with turf, agility ramps, and a dedicated dog wash station. It's a subtle detail, but it says a lot about how this project is being designed. And because this level sits between the functional base and the residents above, it creates a buffer, a transition zone that softens the move from public energy to private life. Above the amenity level, the building transitions fully into private residences. And this is where all the earlier decisions about scale and organization really start to matter. With approximately 70 estate-style homes spread across 2 towers, there are fewer residences per level than you'd see in a typical high-density building. That affects the way it feels. Elevators aren't constantly cycling, hallways aren't long and crowded, there are simply less friction built into daily life. The residences themselves are designed with proportion in mind. Open layouts, generous ceiling heights, expansive windows that frame natural light and views. When density is reduced, you gain flexibility, you gain privacy, and you gain a sense of calm that's hard to measure on paper, but easy to feel. This isn't about stacking units to maximize count. It's about shaping space to maximize livability. Luxury today often gets measured by how much there is. More amenities, more floors, more visual impact, but more is not always better. What makes this project different is restraint. Restraint in scale, restraint in density, restraint in how it meets the street. When you understand how this building is organized, from historic retail at the base to integrated parking to a thoughtfully designed amenity level with guest suites, and finally to private residences above, the vision starts to feel cohesive. In the next episode, we'll go deeper into the design philosophy, the materials, the details, and how modern architecture can honor history without copying it.